Ruben Amorim's impact on Manchester United and the transfer structure going forward is the importance of that, and that is what we're talking about this morning as well. The two new rules that are creeping in to Manchester United's recruitment team and management going forward. Joshua Zirkzee is in the headlines again this morning, and we're going to look ahead to the Nottingham Forest game and the importance of it as well. The weekend is here, everybody, and Manchester United have a huge game at the City Ground this weekend. Looking forward to it. I've got to admit, I am feeling very upbeat about Manchester United at the moment, as we've talked all week and been, well, let's just say, quite confident amongst the chat, and the live chat on many shows that we've done this week have been leading into this Forest game that with an upbeat nature and feeling like we can actually continue this run that we're on right now. But hey, look, we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about first, so we're going to get into that. The most important story, I think, coming back again from yesterday, and what Jason Wilcox said and what's been picked out from that. We touched on it yesterday if you weren't in last night's show, what Jason Wilcox was saying, but to come from it and the new structure that's in place at Manchester United, the important rules that they are going to use going forward in future transfer windows, what they have learned in Ruben Amorim's first year, and how they're going to go forward now in the club. And the main takeaway from this is the character of the player coming in. I think they're looking at natural ability has been a thing that Manchester United have looked at, and you can see that right now, Manchester United are looking at it completely different in terms of the players that are coming in. I think we can grasp that, can't we? And there is a different look about it. In the past, it was about the ability, it was about the skills, it was about the obvious. On paper, that player looks great. On paper, that player looks like he can tear it up for Manchester United, but mentally not strong enough. And that's been the big push from Manchester United. And I think even Ineos learning from the first summer that they had, bringing in no Prem-proven players. Jason Wilcox goes into detail in his interview with MUTV about Matthias Cunha, Brian Mbeumo already being settled in the Premier League and the country and knowing what's coming. And then being happy about the players that they brought in, like Senna Lamens and Benjamin Sesko alongside it. Manchester United now are going off what Wilcox has said, and the report coming out this morning also is a new look at transfers. Ruben Amorim asking for the right mentality. Now, you can look at this simply by saying, look, you're looking at players coming in from the Premier League. Dead easy, Adam. Just pick Premier League players that have got that experience. We've talked about it for weeks and months now, even going into the summer, this summer coming up, like the Whartons, Balabers and Elliot Andersons of this world. But what I think Ruben Amorim has done in his first year at Manchester United, and what Ineos have learnt from it, and remember, that interview that we talked about the other day that Omar Barada had at the end of last season, and just cast your minds back to that post-season tour in Asia, where Omar Barada came out and said that Manchester United now have a plan going forward. We knew what would happen if we didn't make Champions League, and we knew what would happen if we didn't. We have two separate plans, and now we're going to implement them. What we've got right now is a fresh start through the summer with no international duties, no tournaments, nothing to get in the way, so preparation can get fully underway for that. But he also said something really important, Omar Barada, in that post-season tour interview, where he said, we've learnt a lot, and I think Ruben has learnt a lot in the last 8 months as to what we cannot do going forward. So again, another sign there of what Manchester United used to be like and what Ruben had to go through. And this is like when we said last night, it's like Sir Jim Radcliffe coming out confidently after speaking to Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox, his people on the ground. Because let's be honest, Sir Jim Radcliffe doesn't know enough about football to understand what Ruben Amorim's doing right now. He's employed them people to do it for him. So when listening to him, he has understood what his people have told him and what Ruben has gone through. And now we're talking about what Ineos have learnt from Ruben Amorim in this first year of him in charge. And what they have learnt of Ruben Amorim so far is his no-nonsense approach, how he has dealt with the bad eggs of the bunch in Manchester United's squad as such. And as like I just said a moment ago there, it's all right saying, yeah, just bring Premier League players in. That's what you need. People who know the Premier League. It's an obvious thing to say, isn't it? But we cannot do that with every single player. There are going to have to be some players that come in from overseas. There are going to have to be some players that get scouted in young and then brought through the academy. So the big emphasis on this is, I think, the mentality side of things. And in that two new rule breakdown, when you look at the character side of something, that first of all comes from what's happened last season and then going into the start of this season with the new players that we've bought. So they've learned from last season. And this is what I mean by Ruben Amorim saying no to Marcus Rashford. Ruben Amorim outing Garnacho. Everything that he has done and stood his ground with, the character and the mentality. So he changed the mentality around Manchester United and the current players. And we made a point about this the other day. It's like the old guard that are still there that we're all talking about should potentially leave Manchester United at the end of this summer. They're all now playing well because you're not going to get away with it anymore at United. And the fact that these players now know that there is no way out of this for them because the board are backing Ruben Amorim, this is massive as well. So your Garnachos of this world are gone. Your Marcus Rashfords of this world are gone. Your prima donna players have left Manchester United. You can all see what's happening with Jadon Sancho right now. Ruben Amorim didn't even get a chance to work with Jadon Sancho and he already seen through the player. He just isn't allowing that bad mentality or that prima donna entitled mentality that a lot of these Man United players had to creep back into this football team. He won't have it. And like we said before, Ruben Amorim also has a say on the transfers. He has to have a big say on the transfers, obviously, because he is the man in charge as well. So them all together, Ruben and the hierarchy coming together and picking and choosing the transfers that they make. I think a specific thing, the character, and he always goes on about it. I always quote him on it as well. It is the quality of the character of the players that he's looking for right now. And he's brought it from within. He has brought it from within. You look at Luke Shaw right now. You look at Harry Maguire and how they're playing. You look at Casemiro, the old guard of Manchester United. Bruno's having to change his game now. He started to be subbed off a little bit more. He's starting to be a little bit more disciplined. And we're seeing this in games. He is getting through to certain players, I think, right now. And this moves into what you need to bring in then in the future. And what Manchester United do need to bring in is a level like that. And Manchester United now actually have, like we've always said, that culture, that that sort of mentality monster attitude within the team. And you can then look at the non-Prem proven players that Man United have brought in, and you look at the characters of a Mazraoui. You look at the characters of a Matthias de Ligt. You look at even Lenny Yoro to a certain degree. He could have easily been sat now in that Real Madrid changing room this summer because Lille didn't get a deal off Manchester United and he waited out for Real Madrid. They tested Lenny Yoro and he said he's going for it. He's not going to wait for Real Madrid. And that's the type of character that they want. They want players, first of all, that want to play for Man United, but they want players that are going to dig in and graft it out when things are not going right. There's a few players that have already done that. And that you can look at Joshua Zirkzee. We're actually going to talk about Zirkzee in a minute, actually, in the reports this morning coming out on him. But I think, first and foremost, the rule number one in terms of Manchester United's recruitment, from what Wilcox was saying yesterday and this report compiled and brought in this morning, is that the character of the player is the most important part now for Manchester United. Yes, you need him in a certain area of the pitch. You look at the qualities, you look at what he brings attribute-wise, physically, and all of that. But the character is most important. And then on top of that, the second part was something different. Now, this is something that Manchester United, that not many people have brought up before, have done for years. Buying the same player who does the same thing all of the time, constantly. Now, you could say that Manchester United did this in a way by bringing 2 10s in this summer, in Mbeumo and Cunha, and then you've got the likes of Bruno, Mount, Zirkzee, Hamad, Mainu already there. There needs to be something different about that player to add to Manchester United. That, I think, is a very, very important point as well, because the players that Manchester United have brought in this summer have all added something different. And I think skill-wise, mentality-wise, it isn't like what we've got. I mean, I don't think that Cunha and Mbeumo are the same type of player. I don't. They've both got their own qualities on their own. You add to that the fact that Bruno Fernandes brings his own side to it. Ahmad brings his own side to it as well. And the different qualities that each player has got in Manchester United. Mason Mount's a different player. And then you've got Zirkzee and Mainu, who just don't really fit in. And again, not wanting to condemn them both, but in the positives that we're talking about with the players coming in, there is the obvious negative that some are going to fall by the wayside. And that's the difference. Something different. Manchester United, how many times have we just gone out and bought the same player all the time? Why did we buy Joshua Zirkzee? And you can go in on Ineos on this. They can't get away with it because it was their first transfer window. There was no reason to buy Joshua Zirkzee. There wasn't. Ultimately, it comes down to Ineos not getting rid of Ten Hag when they should have, because they didn't want to back Ten Hag. If you're not willing to back Ten Hag and give him the time and do what you're doing with Ruben Amorim now, then you shouldn't have kept him in the first place, because Ruben Amorim had a shocking start to this season as well, just like Ten Hag did last season. Well, last season they sacked Ten Hag. This season they backed Ruben Amorim off the back of what they saw, which was our worst ever Premier League season. So really you could say it was Ineos' fault for not giving Ten Hag the time, or not making the decision on Ten Hag in the summer when they should have made it. And therefore Ruben might have had a better chance last season. Look, if buts and maybes on that side of things, but constantly bringing in the same playoff for the same role, and that's Manchester United. It's like splitting hairs. You haven't got anything different to bring on. And that's what you have to do, I think. And I think that's more important for Manchester United as well when looking for new players. It's like Benjamin Sesko, Senna Lamens, completely different to what we had before. Completely different. And it's transformation. Now, the transfer window coming up, and the one after that, obviously January around the corner, and summer, the midfielders that we have got, well, we know they're not good enough to last out a full season, but also I think Manchester United need a different angle with the midfielder that they're going to bring in. Like, it's all right being able to be a destroyer like Manuel Ugarte is. It's all right being able to read the game like Casemiro does, but you need a player that has the energy to get up and down that pitch as well, that can destroy, that can see a pass, and can score a goal. You need all four of them attributes in your midfielders that you're bringing in. They can chip in. They are calm on the ball. Something different. None of our midfielders are press resistant. I'll say this now, I don't think they are. And this is where these two rules will come in and really pay dividends to Manchester United going forward, I think, in the transfer window. They will be massive for us. These attributes, the mentality of the players, that, I think, in this team right now, with what we are creating, like I've just said, will definitely, I feel, bring more to Manchester United and give us a better chance going forward. Let's get into the comment section on this. What are your main characteristics? What do you want to see in players brought forward? What should Manchester United be looking at when we're going into these transfer windows? I mean, look at just in the comparison there. Just when we bring up the the comparisons of something different, when we bring in the conversation of, let's say, like we just said there, you got the character and then the player has to have something different coming in. You could match up Cunha to Garnacho. I mean, for goodness sake, that there alone is completely different. You could have Mbeumo to Marcus Rashford. You have Sesko to Rasmus Højlund. Completely different players, playing a completely different way, and have the right character. 3 different signings. Lamens to Onana. I mean, do we even need to go there? You know what I'm saying. Thank you for the super chats as well, Mr. Creed, for letting us know about the sound earlier on. Do apologise about that, everybody. I will clip that out before it goes out later on as well. Ant says, with a super chat, his first one of the day, he says, I'm going for an aggressive battling 2-1 win against Nottingham Forest this weekend. I like your confidence, mate. I'll get into that very, very soon as well and go into a bit of detail on the game. As unpopular as it is, I still think the old guard must go for us to truly grow as a team. Old habits die hard, and the PTSD is a bitch. Two more windows, says Ant. 2 more windows for Ruben Amorim to turn it around, if Ruben Amorim is in situ, or Man United to turn it around. I think that's what we're looking at. I think most people have got the same sort of opinion on this. And I think if we look at what we could do in January and then in the summer, I think everybody has said the same thing. If you put 2 more at it and capable midfielders in this midfield for Man United, then you really are moving, because I think Man United's front three can compete with any in European football at the moment. It sounds crazy me saying that. It sounds like I'm going a bit over the top there, but I do. I think Mbeumo, Cunha and Sesko as a three are just as capable as anything there is. Definitely in the Premier League. And if we're talking Premier League, then you've got to look at Europe as well on that. We are right up there now in what we've got there. We've got a capable goalkeeper. Our back three is solid. Yes, we need wing backs. We need to add that to our arsenal. But the midfield area is the one. And if you put that midfield like the ones we've been talking about and the potential signs we could make, you put that midfield in, then you're looking at a completely different Manchester United side then. And to be honest, I think would definitely be, I feel, the difference for Manchester United staying in the top 4 and then, like Jason Wilcox said yesterday, challenging. Let's get some more comments in on this as well, everybody. Please get in there and let me know what you're thinking. Laurens is different to our previous goalkeeper because he actually stops the ball. Yeah, Roz, I know. Simple things. It's the simple things, the small things that matter, isn't it? It is. It is. Ten Hag wanted to run the club. That does not work at United. Yeah, lots of stories have come out on Ten Hag's SEG and what happened behind the scenes at United since Ten Hag has gone. Look, we all knew there was concerning worries and signs there that Ten Hag was doing something else and was running things a lot differently. Look, we don't even need to think about that or worry about that or even talk about that anymore. But just making the point of why did Ineos not do what was necessary before the season started? You could possibly say that. And then we might not have bought the same players that we've got right now. But again, not wanting to out the players that came in the previous season's summer transfer window, because they've all been useful for Manchester United. And right now, I want to see De Ligt every single game. I do. I think he's an absolute beast of a player. I love Mazraoui, as you all know. Lenny Yoro, get him in that side. I think Manchester United, right now, the last 2 transfer windows have been the best since Sir Alex Ferguson left Manchester United. So the last 2 transfer windows under Ineos, and I'm not just saying this because everyone thinks I'm an Ineos fanboy or anything like that, but I think on paper, Man United's last 2 transfer windows have been the best that we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson left the football club. I just think the players that have come in, the players that have left, you can't really compare, can you? I have got a poll running right now as well, everybody, seeing as though we are getting a lot of our players back from injury as well, which is another good thing. Who would you play when both are fit? Lisandro Martinez or Luke Shaw? That's that left centre-back role that I'm thinking. It's a bit of a landslide at the moment. I think a little bit harsh on Luke Shaw for how he's played so far this season, but 83% of you would say Lisandro Martinez over Luke Shaw. That is... I didn't expect that. That's what I'll say. I did not expect that. That fraud, Erik ten Hag, terrorised us, but again, managed to win a Carabao Cup and FA Cup. Blessings in disguise. Maybe. I mean, something good always has to come as something bad eventually, doesn't it? When you hit rock bottom, there's only one way from there, and that's up. And that's where I think Manchester United were last season. We went bang, rock bottom. Rock bottom. And don't ask me why I said that. Did that then. And now we're seeing that upward trend. Positivity within the fans. Everybody talking about Manchester United in a completely different tongue. And it's good to see. Let's see what else we've got here comment-wise. Everyone piling in this morning. Absolutely love it. We need to concentrate on the first 11 and hopefully summer 27 we could be in a position to squad build with some maturity coming through from the academy as well. So, yeah, let's not forget that. Lee, good chat, good comment, mate, on that one there. It is about the first 11 because we need to compete. There's some good squad players in this Man United side that actually feel, because of the way that Manchester United has been run the last few years, like they should be first-team players. This is what I mean. When you've got someone in control that's starting to win games like we are doing now, then players that were kicking off and kicking up a stint because they weren't featuring before, they're now not there because United are winning. And United need to build a mentality where certain players who think they should be playing actually feel part of a winning squad rather than feeling that they should be in the team because we're not doing so well. If you keep winning and you build this mentality, then Manchester United will eventually create its own squad depth. You might not. It's like Ruben right now. Ruben believes that Joshua Zirkzee should stay at Manchester United. He doesn't want him to move. We'll talk about him in a minute. But going through into seasons now from here, Joshua Zirkzee could be a squad player that comes in when we're playing in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Europa League or Champions League in seasons to come. He could be useful for Manchester United. Could he be our Teddy Sheringham, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I know we're going way back when, but everybody's got squad depth right now. Well, unless you listen to Arne Slot, who doesn't think he has got squad depth after winning the league and then spending half a bill. But still, you need it. And some of these players, I think, will just naturally transition into squad players. And I'm hoping that's the case. Otherwise, they will be gone and the academy will take their place anyway, which for me still, as you know, isn't really a bad thing either. Attitude is the most important. The club had Hendo as a backup for De Gea, but when De Gea started making more mistakes, he didn't stay patient and wanted to be the number one immediately. Then goalkeeper issues started. Look, I think competition for places is good, but you've got to have a balance to it as well. It's like Romero and De Gea. Probably the best combination Manchester United had in the last 10 years, goalkeeper-wise. It was, wasn't it? It was a good combination, that. Romero, he knew his place in the team, he knew he was a number 2, and he was an adequate number 2 as well for Manchester United. And you need to find that. Whether or not Vitek coming back in next season is going to be Lamin's number 2, we'll see, won't we? We'll see if that works out for us. A few super chats in. Let's just get through them. Thank you, everybody, again. Keep your comments coming in. We're opening it up today. We are going to move on to some other news as well at the moment, and we are going to be talking about the Nottingham Forest game. My look at the Forest game and my predicted lineup, that will be all coming later on this evening as well, but we are going to just check the vibe and how everything is. I'm going to talk about what Sean Dyche said after them comments. You know the comments as well. The media have made a bit of a meal out of this one. Roslyn with a super chat says, I want to see a Maz play the 6 role. Is that in Mazraoui or Martinez? Which one, mates? Any chance of that happening? I don't think Mazraoui is the right player for 6. I really don't. If that's who you're alluding to, mate. Anyway. For me, Ruben has already turned it around. It will take 2 more windows to fully implement his plan, but there's no doubts that we're in a better place. 100%. Block and Roz there. Thank you for the super chats. But Block there, Sean, pretty much nailing it there with where we're actually at right now. You can feel the turnaround is there. Sometimes you just need to add a little bit more quality to your side, and then you can really make that next step. The step's already been made in the culture and the mentality of Manchester United players. We can see that. And look, I said it before, I'm still baffled that we're in to now November tomorrow and we've still got Luke Shaw available and fit. And we're talking about him keeping Lisandro Martinez out of the side. Like, literally, that is the poll running this morning. And a lot of people have gone with Leacher anyway. But we're actually having a debate here about Luke Shaw keeping Martinez out of the side. If I'd have said that to you, say, for instance, back in April, that going forward, Manchester United, after the back of this season, going into Ruben's first full season, Luke Shaw would be keeping Leacher out of the side, or a debate would be had about that, you'd have laughed in my face and and give me a bit of a slap around the cheek as well, I think, for being stupid. That's what people would have said. But look at us now. Look where we're actually at. It's crazy that we're having that conversation. But squad depth, like we just said, we've got 7 centre-backs fit when Maguire and Leach come back into this side, which isn't a million miles away. So, yeah, there you go. Wing-backs, a little bit more cover. Maybe an academy player can come through. Investment into midfield in the summer will give us that depth in midfield. And then the forwards, well, I think we do need another striker. And 10s, well, take your pick. Next season, you're going to have Mbumo, you're going to have maybe Bruno Fernandes being moved out if he's going to be used more as a rotation player. Matthias Cunha, Mason Mount, Ahmad, if necessary, if you go out and buy wing-backs. But I actually think Ruben loves Ahmad at right wing-back now, and the combination between him and Mbumo is absolutely brilliant. And he heard someone's analysis the other day on the radio, can't remember who it was. It might have even been Martin Keown, and I don't like Martin Keown at all. Or maybe even Danny Murphy. It was one on TalkSport and he was talking... Oh, no, it wasn't, actually. It was Danny Kelly on TalkSport, and he was talking about the review, how Amorim has managed to get another forward player in this side. So we've got another attacking option, and that has been massive for Manchester United this season. And it has. Ahmad at right wing back and having another attacking player coming into Manchester United's moves and attacks going forward has made all of the difference, because you still have that, and I think he has got good defensive attributes, Ahmad, so you've still got that player there that will do the work and get up and down the pitch and put the effort in, but he has got that absolute quality, and his link up with Brian and Mbeumo down that right hand side, that is the biggest concern I've got now. Not because we've got that or the players, but because of AFCON and that spell. Can we recover from that AFCON spell? Can we get through it, grind our way through that, and get them players back for them big games in January? Because they are due back and back around the double header. We've got, well, the double header. Well, it's Arsenal then Manchester City back to back in the last 2 weeks of January, and they might just be back for that. So we just got to grind our way through to that, I think. But them two, I think, are massive for Manchester United. And going forward, they are going to be, I think, for Man United, the most important part for this team and Ruben Amorim's success. If you can replicate that on the left-hand side, Cunha's there already. If you can find somebody perfect to work alongside Matheus Cunha, then you're really talking. This is why a lot of people have actually posed the question, can you play Luke Shaw for an hour at left wing back and let him link up with Matheus Cunha? Obviously, they've built a rapport off the pitch and there is a relationship there. I'm not saying that that's important to have for what they do on the pitch, but it can only help, can't it, when you look at it? But I do believe that the two midfielders, then someone on the left-hand side for wing back, bang, Man United, you're challenging. You're really challenging. And I would go as far as to say, you put that in, the Man United should be looking at major trophies. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But that just tells you how important the recruitment is. If you get the right players in, bang, there we go. Lots of people also talking about Elliot Anderson's audition for United. It was Baleba last week. It's Anderson this week. We're not too far away from playing Adam Wharton and Crystal Palace. That's coming up in the next 3 or 4 fixtures for United as well. So we've had all of our midfield targets come up against us in a spell of 5 games, it would seem. So actually, let me just double check when we actually play Crystal Palace now. I'm just going to make sure, because I think it is when we come back from international break. It is indeed 30th of November. So we play Forest, then Spurs, then we're at home to Everton when we come back from international break. And straight after that, it's a Crystal Palace away from home on the 30th of November. So, yes, United definitely in position to, I would say, really test out their midfielders and what we've got going forward. So, yeah, I think we're looking at... But at the moment, Baleba's failed. Anderson, hopefully he fails tomorrow as well. I hope they all fail, because it would just mean that Man United are beating each of them sides, wouldn't it? So, yeah. It's crazy how that's all happened. They're quick, close together though, isn't it, as well? Right, into the other news floating around as well this morning, and it is around Joshua Zirkzee at Manchester United. And Italian reports coming in this morning, actually, Gazzetta dello Sport. Joshua Zirkzee, he's back on AC Milan's shortlist of strikers for the January transfer window. Zirkzee wants to play football regularly, and at the moment at United, that's not possible. West Ham, Everton, also interested. This is what we were saying the other day when Fabrizio Romano came out and said that even though Ruben Amorim is saying no at the moment, keep an eye on this one for the January transfer window. Zirkzee, above everybody else, is just, I feel, out. We all know, we've spoken about where we think Zirkzee is right now in Man United's side. He really just doesn't stand a chance, does he? And him and Mainu, I think, are going to be hot topics for us going forward. And there isn't any other position in the team for him. Remember we was talking earlier on in the show, we was talking about the character of the player and something different. Has to bring that to the side. Now, unless you are prepared to be a squad player, then you will not survive at Manchester United. Joshua Zirkzee has both of them attributes. So realistically, I could see why Ruben Amorim is saying, I don't want Zirkzee to go. Because the two new rules for Manchester United, character, something different. He's got Premier League experience now. He's in and he's had a season. He knows what it's all about. He knows what's necessary. He's got character because he had to come through a lot last season. So we know that he's got the right attitude. And he just wants to play football. I get that. So if needs must, and Ruben says to him, look, you're not going to play, and he wants to move away, I can't really hold that against him because he wants to play. But he went through a lot last season from being booed off by his own fans at Old Trafford. And again, it did happen. I was sat there. I seen people standing up booing him. It was ridiculous. It was a joke. He dealt with that. He came back. He was one of the positives to finish last season until he got his injury at Newcastle. Gutted for him. And he does bring something different. So this is what I mean. If we had more games, if he was in more position, in more competitions, then we would be in a great position as a club to actually give more game time to Zirkzee and test him out in certain games. And I think that squad depth that we're talking about is there. Like, Zirkzee is different. He's not the same player as Sesko. He can come on and do a different job. He can come on and do something in 10 or at 9 for Manchester United off the bench. And it's if he is willing to be that player. He may start the odd game here and there. If Joshua Zirkzee is at the football club going into next season and Manchester United are in Europe, he will play 20 to 30 games. He will make 30 appearances next season, in my opinion. Because he will be coming off the bench in different games. Ruben Amorim right now can do what he wants with his starting 11 and not make as many changes and leave players on for longer than what's normal. In a normal season for United, when we'd expect us to be playing more, that is. But right now, he just doesn't have that chance. And it's just, Zirkzee may just miss out on what is coming at Manchester United. I'm sure that Ruben is telling him that the future is at United. The World Cup has really put a spanner in the works for a lot of these players. And again, if you're asking me honestly right now what I think will happen, I think Zirkzee will end up leaving Manchester United. I don't see him staying. I think he will get a loan away. And I said this yesterday as well. The hierarchy at Manchester United will at some point have to do their other job, which is the financial side of things. And they will say to Ruben, if this player is not going to feature, he needs to go on loan because we're going to lose value on him. If he's sat on the bench, people are going to come in and just bid us in the balls. There needs to be a financial decision made as well. By Manchester United, which is probably then the decision of saying, well, I want to keep Zirkzee and I can see I'm going to use him next season. I want to keep Mainu, I'm going to use him next season. But can you convince the player? If you can't convince the player and the player says, no, I want to leave, you have to make a decision there and then and say, right, okay, we need to loan these players out just to give them the chance to play football and keep their value where it is or maybe even go higher. Because then we have got an option going into the summer. Right now, there's no option going into the summer for Manchester United. If we keep these players and they don't play, then you've got to make a decision on then selling them in the summer or whether they are going to feature after the amount of players that are brought in the transfer window. For Mainu's situation, you're going to be bringing in midfielders. So, that again, it's important to remember that as well. And we want them to stay. We want them to be part of it. We want them to be on this journey with us. But it is going to be incredibly difficult for Ruben to balance this out. And I think this is one area that and one fight he's not going to win. He's definitely not going to win the battle with Kobbie Mainoo and Joshua Zirkzee this season. There just isn't enough games. And that's the problem that he's going to have going forward, definitely. Let's get some more comments on this as well, on everything going on. AFCON can be used as an opportunity to play promising academy players like JJ Gabriel. Just give him 20 minutes off the bench. He isn't going to play for Manchester United. I don't think he can play at the moment on a certain rule. So, no, it'll have to be next season anyway. But likes of Shea Lacey, definitely agree with that one. You could see Kone coming in. You could see a Mantato coming through as well. Oh, Fletcher. There's plenty there to pick from. Adam got to raise the standards again. We can get better players. Want to see a whole new load of players next season. I don't think we're going to see loads and loads. I think we will see a lot of changes, but we do need to see, I think, better quality more than quantity, I would say. If you were offering me 2 signings and they were the best that you could get that everybody wanted, I would take that over bringing in 5 more players all day long. Concentrate on the starting 11, and the rest of the squad should fall into place. We're nowhere near the level. And when people say that United's first 11 can compete like I have just done, yes, we can. But in terms of lasting a season out, no, we can't, because we haven't got the squad depth. So we're still building. It's probably why most people are saying we need, before we get the right squad, before we get the right amount of players that we can safely say is a decent squad and we've got good depth and quality, we need another couple of windows on top of that. Right now, Manchester United are competing in domestic cups and getting into the top 4. That's the target right now for the foreseeable. And past that, transfer window after transfer window, we start to move players on. Carl says in the chat, sentimentality needs to leave the club and fan base. You don't win leagues by allowing average players to hang around at the club. We sent. Is that supposed to say that sent us back 10 years? So there's a typo in the bottom there on that one, Carl. If we have 5 number 10s and Bruno plays as an 8, ain't Zirkzee and Mainu the 2 backup 10s? So what's the problem? Ahmad can play in the 10 if needs be. Ruben plays him at right wing back. Yeah. What is the problem? The player is the problem, Dark Muppet, to be honest. That's what we're talking about. It's the player actually wanting to leave because he's not getting the game time because he wants to start. So it's all right us saying that they're backups, problem solved. They don't want to be backups. And we haven't got enough games to give them the chance to play. That's what we're talking about probably more. On paper, it does look like that's the right decision. And you're right, we have got squad depth. But they want to play. And the issue is internally, isn't it? See what else we've got in here as well. Get your comments in as well, please, on the game this weekend, everybody. How confident are you? Are you hopeful for the game against Nottingham Forest? Forest have got a few players missing, actually. It's good that they haven't got Wood back still. So no Wood. Zinchenko's out as well. Aina still out as well for Nottingham Forest. So a few key players missing for them. Sean Dyche was addressing the media as well yesterday. And he claims that Ruben Amorim has changed since he did that overlap interview. And you know what? We've all said, and I've said it myself, he has changed. He has adapted. His system is still there and his formation is still there, but he has changed. He has changed something everybody has seen, and it changed at the Sunderland game. And he's won 3 games in a row because of it. And that was going direct and giving the opposition 2 things to actually think about. And even Ruben alluded to it in his press conference yesterday when he said we had time to play the ball against Brighton because Brighton dropped back expecting the long ball there, giving Man United's defenders chance to play out from the back, and we completely mixed it up. And now Ruben is saying that we're not going to get that chance and that much time on the ball. We have to be ready. We have to be ready. And we said this in the press conference coverage yesterday, that it's the controlling of the environment rather than the game Ruben was talking about. We are different when we're in away games than we are at home. And I understand what he means by this. Every single tackle that the home team win gets the crowd on the side. Every moment that they get, the atmosphere changes. Can you control the environment Ruben was talking about? Dyche going in on Ruben's that he has changed since he made them remarks. He said, if I went in and played at Manchester United, I would win games with that team. We all know what he was talking about there. It's all changed now. It's all got a bit nicey again now, and Dyche has come back and said that he's changed his system a little bit. He has. Ruben completely sidestepped it. He said sometimes punditry, you need to say crazy things to be watched or get on the show again. Like, he's writing that as well, Ruben Amorim. He's learning very, very quickly after 1 year in charge of Manchester United how the media works and how the Premier League actually works. And I think he's adapting to it quite well. It's obviously a lot easier to adapt to the media and everything that the Premier League is when you're winning games. And that's all great. But we have seen him get a little bit spiky in interviews and press conferences when things are not going so well. And he said, though, he says, I am not going to change. Even the Pope will not change my decisions and what I do. Well, he has tweaked it. He's changed it up quite a bit, actually. And it was that Sunderland game. It was Senna Lamons and it was Benjamin Sesko. and everybody else fed around that. And now they are learning that, but they're adapting to the system because it's easier to when you're further up the pitch. And we're getting up the pitch a lot quicker because of that direct ball, because we've got targets, because we've got energy, because we've got grit, determination and strength up front now, what we did not have last season. We really didn't. We were weak last season, weren't we? We just seemed to be bullied all of the time. Now we've got actual muscle and we've got a little bit of fight. It's a different ball game, a completely different ball game for Manchester United. So yes, I think that is key for Man United going forward. And Sean Dyche is right. He is right. How they will cope with it, I don't know. I think Manchester United and the way we're playing right now is definitely going to affect. It's definitely going to affect Nottingham Forest in the way that Dyche plays. I kind of think this is why I'm confident this weekend. I'm going with another 3-1 Man United win, by the way. I'll talk more about my predictions and things like that and the team lineup later on, like I said, this evening. But I'm going for a 3-1 Man United win because I just think the way Sean Dyche plays and the way that United are playing now, I think it kind of suits us in what's happening. And I do believe that United now are in a completely different place, confidence-wise, mentality-wise. And going to an away game like this before, you'd have been really worried. It'd have been like the Brentford scenario all over again. I don't think it's going to be the same this time. I think Manchester United will have a tough game against Nottingham Forest, but I think we'll come out on top because we've got goals in our team now. And I think we're starting to spread the goals out. I think Ahmad's lethal. I think Bruno can chip in. Cunha's got his first goal. Sesko and Bumo. You've got them. Mount to come off the bench. He can score a goal. Also, we've got the threat from the centre-backs coming forward as well. Look, I think Manchester United have got goals, which is why I'm confident that United will get the win, get the 3-1 win this weekend at the City Ground. And we're happy because if we do win the game at weekend, looking at the fixtures, so when you look at Sunderland, don't play till Sunday. Tottenham are playing later that afternoon against Chelsea, so they could take points off of each other or one of the teams loses. Bournemouth play Manchester City on Sunday, and that's going to be a good game as well. And Manchester United play before any of the teams above us. So if we beat Nottingham Forest, and I know it's an if, and we've got to get through that game first of all, if we actually beat Nottingham Forest this weekend, Man United will be 3 points off the top, although Arsenal are playing Burnley at the same time, so they might clearly win that game. But you get what I'm saying. Man United will be second in the Premier League after 10 games. And we might stay there. I think a win this weekend will definitely keep Man United in the top 4, I think, this weekend anyway. And I would just, for Man United to be going in to the international break in that top 4 would be a major, major statement, I feel. And you cannot ignore that. Manchester United right now are, when you look at the table, and I was talking about the goals, third highest goal scorers in the league this season. Third. Where did that come from? Yeah, there are a few teams above us because they've got 17, but the leading goal scorers in the league are on 17 goals. That's Chelsea, Manchester City, Tottenham. They're the leading goal scorers in the league this season. Man United are on 15. So, yes, we've got goals in our side, and that is the difference. When you compare where Manchester United was this time last season to where we are right now, we are miles better off. We're 5 points better off than when we was this time last season. I think we've scored 7 more goals. We've conceded 3 more, which is crazy, but we have had some bad games this season. But we've scored 7 more goals at the same stage of last season. If Manchester United win tomorrow as well, then we have already won half the amount of games we won in the entirety of the whole of last season in the Premier League. Yeah. That'll be our 6th win. Last season, Man United won 11 games in the whole season. That is absolutely ridiculous when you look at it. That's how bad Man United were. And we'll be on 6 wins and already over half the amount from the entirety of last season. That's bleeding crazy, isn't it, when you look at it? It really is. Andrew is getting the good vibes going now. He's just gifted 5 memberships in there right at the back end of the show. Thank you so much, Andrew. I love that, mate. Loving the spirits in the FUTV community at the moment. We will be doing some of the members carry on live streams. We might do one on Monday, actually, where we transfer over to a members live stream as well from a normal live. But yeah, that is coming, everybody, as well. Also, just wanted to let you know about the link in the live chat right now. My Fantasy 5 fantasy football game this weekend. It is just for the Nottingham Forest game. So play the game, click the link, play the game like you would a normal fantasy football game. You've got to pick 5 players from both sides. You need 1 goalkeeper, 1 defender, 1 midfielder and 1 attacker. Then you can choose any position you want on the outfield as your extra 5th man. You have to have at least 2 players from each side. You have got a budget, and there are prizes for the top 3. And the prizes are going to be the replica shirts, courtesy of OK Jerseys, another one of our matchday sponsors. So, first, second, third, you are all going to win a replica shirt. And it's going to be sent straight to your home, wherever you are in the world, by the way. So anyone can enter this Fantasy 5. You just have to be in the top 3 of the leaderboard. Looking at the leaderboard, there are a few in there now. It's just started. So get your team in now. Has to be registered in before kick-off tomorrow and be with a chance of winning the shirt as well. We will obviously let you know as soon as you have won. All the chats and information is actually on the game there as well, so we'll communicate straight through the game to you if you are one of the winners as well on it. So get across to Big Up on my Fantasy 5 game now if you want to be in with a chance. All you have to do is be in the top 3, and at the moment I think there are 8 people in the league, so you've got a good chance. Get in there now, create your team, everybody. Remember, 5 players mixed between both sides tomorrow. 1 keeper, 1 defender, 1 midfielder, 1 attacker, and then 1 extra outfield player, defender, a midfielder, or an attacker. You have to have 2 players at least from one side, so you can pick 2 Forest players, 3 United players, or vice versa. Dead easy to play. Leaderboard is there, and there is a chat there as well to go along with it, and an update screen on the points as they go through. My own, very own created Fantasy 5 game there, everybody. I just haven't got it in me to do the full season one. I've said this before, so I'm going to do this for every Man United game, and then we're going to have winners every single week. If you're up for that, get involved, everybody, and get on there and pick your team. For now, that is it, everyone. Make sure you have a fantastic day, wherever you're up to. The weekend is here. Happy Friday, people. And please do make sure you get your comments in after the show is finished. Hit the like button. Also, make sure that you do subscribe as well to Forever United TV. We have got a blockbuster content day coming up tomorrow for you. I'm going to be covering not just Manchester United's game, but we're going to do back-to-back watch-alongs here on FUTV. A marathon tomorrow, everybody. Manchester United, then into rival watch for the Chelsea, Spurs and Liverpool Villa games. Ooh, there's a lot to come this weekend, everybody. Make sure that you're there. I will see you all there later on the show this evening, and have a great day, people.